But anyway, welcome back to Soul Shift. We are together again. Chris is here today on our episode all about marriage and things that you don't realize before the wedding, before you say I do. Which, of course, he's here because that's the one I'm married to. That's my husband. I feel marriage does get a bad rap sometimes. And honestly, I always say it's because people are marrying the wrong person. You think that?
Yeah, 100%.
And it's not perfect. Marriage is not like a fairy tale every day, but it doesn't suck.
Doesn't have to. It can suck, but
Yeah.
it definitely, if you pick the right person, it's makes it a lot easier.
I don't think I've had a day where I was like, man, this really sucks. Why did I do this? Never. Like, do I sometimes be like, look, I'm about to lock him out of the room because I need a break?
We don't get no breaks.
And yes, that is usually his response. But never thought that we wouldn't be together. And we're gonna be really real. We've been together, we've been married for almost 8 years. And we can tell you a little bit about what makes it work for us and some things we do wish we knew before saying I do, and why we actually do enjoy being married. Like, I can't tell you how many times we'll be in bed scrolling and laughing at some people that are complaining, like, this is nuts. Y'all are truly miserable in your own homes and y'all paid to do this. Marriage is not free. So let's get into it. All right. Do you think we get on each other's nerves?
I know I get on your nerves.
I don't get on your nerves.
A fact. Not really. Not the way I get on your nerves.
I mean, I feel like it's like playful get on nerves.
Yeah, I'm trying to poke you sometimes.
You know the things that annoy me and you do them to be annoying, like a just a playful way. And it's like we're just hanging out every day. I still want to hang out with him every day. I still want to be around him every day. But I mean, he does pluck my nerves sometimes, but usually on purpose, like you said. I'm glad you admitted that.
I'm just saying.
What would you say? Because I feel like some people said that the first year is the best. Do you think our first year was the best?
No,
I don't think so either.
this year's been the best.
I think it's getting better. I don't. The first year was good, was cool. I don't think it was the best year, and I think it's because I've. I feel like we truly have learned a lot about each other, and we have changed as people.
So I was gonna kind of touch on that later. It in the years past, I don't know if that would have been true, but I really have been trying to be intentional about making this be the best year and trying to change that going forward, and it's working well.
Yeah. I feel like we have spent more time not trying to make every day be the way that we want it to be, but actually thinking about the other person in a different way. Like, I intentionally think of things the way that I know Christopher's personality, so I try to respond to things in a Christopher gentle way and not Danielle's way, because we do not have the same communication style, and I feel like that's been important. I feel like you've been working on that too.
Yeah.
Like, we don't receive information the same way. Like, some the things that I say don't go into his ears and process in his brain the way that I'm saying them. And I've learned that over the years.
It's interesting because there's a lot that goes on to that. Like, I'm actively trying to figure out what you're trying to say, even if you're not saying it. So, like, I know that you're trying to do.
Say it.
Yeah, but I know what you mean too, because like I know that you know that about me. So then we get caught in this weird space where I'm like, no, that's not what you meant. What you really are trying to say is this. Yeah. And
Christopher is very literal.
And
It still drives me nuts. I'm not gonna lie, but that's something that in the beginning of our marriage and even relationship, that how literal he is would drive me insane. And if you say something even just a little bit to where it's a little inaccurate or it's not exactly the way that his brain processes it, this could turn into an hour long debate, conversation / argument, because now we're frustrated. And I've had to learn, and honestly, he's doing better. He's learned that that's not normal for everyone. and we got to work on it. So just learning how each other communicate has been very helpful.
Yeah, I will say you are usually pretty direct, and it does make it easier. So we kind of pick the right person again. It's just
like, I feel like a lot of people, that's one thing that they don't like about me. What is the filter called that I don't have? I don't have the, I want to say I don't have the bullshit filter, honestly. Like, I don't have it.
You don't suffer fools.
I don't. And Christopher appreciates that because he doesn't understand anything but directness, honestly. So that's another part of what works. Fine, you need to be with the person that works for. I couldn't be with the person who didn't like someone who was direct because this is it. This is all I got.
I find it disingenuous, and I don't respect people that are trying to deceive or manipulate.
I will say that I've met people and I've talked to people who I feel like they think marriage fixes things in the dating stage, and I don't know why anyone ever thought that, but I do know that that is something that I hear a lot, is that we got married because it's going to be better. It's like a honeymoon, and that to me has never made sense. Even before Chris and I got married, that never made sense. I would never go to the marriage stage when the boyfriend girlfriend dating phase is still messed up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it doesn't fix anything. Put on more responsibility and bringing more, it doesn't do anything. Because it's honestly, it's not just about loving someone. I love a lot of people that I don't like. And that's true. Like it's very true. I love a lot of people that I don't want to hang out with, but I love you. I don't want to hang out with you. I don't want to really do anything, but I love you. Now, my husband, I love and I like. And that's important because it's not just about loving someone. It is logistics and it's teamwork. And sometimes it is just not trying to, kill each other when, your husband leaves his socks in front of the hamper for the 10th time in the week. Sometimes it's just that.
Not doing that on purpose.
I don't think he is either, because we were at a hotel this past weekend for Nova's dance competition, and we were in a hotel, obviously, so we brought like a garbage bag to put dirty clothes in, so we could just throw them in the wash when we got home. He put his socks in front of the bag.
Yeah, I do not recall.
And I know he doesn't, because as soon as he did it, the bag was on my side of the bed, and as soon as he did it, I just got up and put him in the bag. Like, it doesn't even like piss me off anymore. And I'm like, you know what? If the only thing he's doing that annoys me is put his dirty clothes in front of the hamper that is perfectly right there, and sometimes he'll walk to it. He walks to the hamper to put it in front. Whatever, I'll pick it up. It's not a big deal. But I like him. Like, I like him and I love him, and it works out. Yeah, I think friendship first has to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Personal space. What do you think about personal space?
That was sacrificed at the altar.
See,
we have personal space. Can't nobody be in our personal space.
You mean personal space as in Danielle and Chris together?
Correct. We have personal space.
So this is something that it doesn't cause any like issue, but that's a difference that we have, and that's something that could be a deal breaker for people in marriage, and that's something you need to address. I'm an only child, and I spent my life playing by myself unless my cousins came over, or if I went there, unless I went to hang out with Kelsey or if my cousin RJ came. Like, I was alone, and I really valued that. I really loved that. And then India came along and London came along, and they would stay for a weekend or a week, and then they go home, and then I was still by myself. So I never needed people in my space. Christopher has 2 other siblings, and he really likes togetherness, and Christopher likes cuddling and everything, and I can do it for a while, but I cannot sleep like that. I can't sleep wrapped up. I just can't. And he prefers it. So that takes balance. Lots of it. And that's why you got to like the person, because if someone who like me is overstimulated by lots of touching, if you don't know where the boundaries are, and if your person can't understand that, Christopher knows that. I'm hot when I sleep, and I don't want to be cuddled up all night while I sleep. He knows those things.
Yep.
He knows it, and it works out because Because we were friends first, and that's where the directness matters. Because I had to let him know.
You too close, man.
We do have individual time though.
What do you mean?
Like we're not always together. Aside from work, even when we're at home, we do things apart. We still have our own things that we do. Like I love to color, I love to paint things. Christopher likes to do tech things and video games and all of that. We do separate in the house to do those types of things.
Yeah. Video games is interesting because I like kind of like laid off of that as much as it like I used to. We used to
Yeah.
really lean on it a lot to escape, and it's not really. I had to kind of start balancing that because it got to be a point where I felt like I was spending too much time on that and not enough time with the family.
That's true. I will say that having Nova changed that a lot because I didn't even know that I cared about it until we had Nova because she would be looking like for she would kind of notice that you did that a lot and she would tell people, "Oh, my daddy just playing the game." And I'm like, "That's not all your daddy does. He does lots of other things all the time." And I think that was the difference that it made. And now we do a lot more things together and out of the house and we got to watch Ninja Warrior, we got to watch BattleBots and whatever else we watch during our family time. We have dedicated family time, dedicated Chris and Danielle time, and alone time.
When I was younger, it was my perception of it was very selfish, for lack of a better term. I just really wanted, like, I needed to check that box for me. Like, that was important to me. And then, I don't know, I guess with maturity and time, it just became like, more less about checking my box and it just become like a pressure relief valve where it's like now it'll be like I don't play like I used to be every day it was time to get some XP.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like once a week or two, once twice a week. I'm like, all right, let me
Yeah, it's usually like Saturday mornings.
yeah. But I think that me getting to a point where I was prioritizing it properly really became a really I think big thing for us.
Yes. And my difference, I feel like, came with Nova because it's still a work in progress. But how game he had to choose between game, not really choose between, but know how to balance the time between games and everything else in life. That was me with Nova. Like there was everything was just Nova's time, Nova's needs. You'll get more of this in other episodes, but my health, my time, my personal time, time with Christopher, nothing really was matching up to the time with Nova. She had all of my time. And I had to work on that too because you can't just be wrapped up in your kid as I was for a bit.
It's been a slow trickle. You are making progress.
But I give more attention to other things now.
Are doing better. It's just a work in progress. You really are. It's a good thing, and it's hard. It's a hard thing to really even speak on because you're a good mother. You're the best mother, and
That's the only compliment that matters to me, to be honest.
I know how you feel about it. So it's not like the problem isn't like it is fine as long as it's not causing harm. You just gotta make sure that you're taking care.
It won't cause any harm as long as Nova don't have no harm.
Low, but you just gotta. You are getting better at it though, and I mean, part of it too is I've been trying to step up where I can and kind of protect you from yourself in a lot of ways and just try to meet the needs before you have anything to do so you have time to relax.
That's true. And that's another reason why marriage doesn't work for some people. You have to be able to know what does the other person need. Christopher and I, we don't really ever speak on it. It just naturally happens. There really aren't roles in our house as far as who does what. Now, as far as cutting the grass, taking out the trash, I just don't do that. Now, if Christopher's in here, had surgery, was injured, couldn't walk, I would do it.
My wife's not cutting the grass or taking out the trash. ever.
If he had surgery, well, no, I'm not cutting the grass. We are definitely paying someone if he cannot cut the grass, or my dad would do it. But we don't have like set roles. Things happen in the house, like primarily things with like Nova's lunch, because I go to the store with her a lot. Like I pack the lunch, I pack snacks. I'm the one doing all the logistics for dance and things. But Christopher, he has other skills within the house too. In our house, Danielle usually washes the clothes. Chris folds the clothes. You know why? Because he hates the way I fold clothes. He hates it. I can make the bed. He doesn't like the way I make the bed, so he wants to make the bed. It it is what it is.
Precision matters.
The bed is made. But hey, and you got to know. But there, all that to say, there are days I come home or Chris comes home and I am like, I'm at a 20. I don't have anything else left but to give our daughter dinner and bath, and that is it. And there's not really a discussion about it. He just does whatever needs to be done.
I guess in a lot of ways, it's kind of a theme that'll carry out through the rest of this is, and kind of what our original point was that the best way to pick the right person is to find someone that balances you out in the right ways and can help you meet needs and the things you need to operate as a family, and where your weaknesses are at. So, well, I'm not well versed in child psychology or how to deal with children in that way. Yeah, can't do that. Like, can't really speak on that well. But I am real good at chores. My mom made sure I really know how to do that. So like I can clean the whole house in like an hour. So like I got that. We're good. So I think it's good to find somebody that compliments you in the right ways.
That's very true because that's his experience. Mine, I didn't really have chores. My parents were more worried that I was involved in things and did things. So y'all know I did dance. I was in music. I just did lots of events and I went to a lot of things with people, social interactions, which shows in my adult life I don't mind a social interaction. Whereas my husband would rather me bury him alive than have to go out and overly socialize. But he would definitely be like, let me clean the house, you go do that social stuff. It'll be done when you get here. So it's definitely, you just gotta know. You just have to know your person. Something else I feel like I didn't, well, I didn't know. Love really is a choice. Like you have to choose it's not just a feeling. You really do have to choose each day that I am going to be intentional and work at this. People like love shouldn't be work, it shouldn't be hard. That's not accurate. Love is work because you're dealing with an actual human that you're going to be together. You're going to be with more than any other human in your entire life. And it takes work because sometimes, as we said, they be doing stuff. It is also a feeling.
Yeah, it's definitely a feeling, but there's two different aspects to it. And I guess it's conceptually they're just different. From like, yeah, there's the emotion of it and the romance of it. That's one part and one facet of it, but the the larger institution of marriage and what it is past that, like what it means for your family and for your children and everything else, takes a lot of work, and it needs to be intentional so that it can be done properly. Because if you just freestyle it, it's you might not get the right result.
Yeah, you can't do it that way. I mean, you could try it, but especially I feel like like I said, this is the seems like we're headed into the best year of our marriage yet. We've been very intentional about who we are as people, who we want to be as parents, and our faith and how God plays a role in our marriage in helping us shape who we are and what we want for ourselves. And I feel like Christopher and we didn't really do a yearly goal setting this year. We didn't really do that, but we talk a lot about where we see ourselves going. Like, what do we see the Sades doing and being? What is it, and what are our steps to get there? And we've been focusing a lot on that. We just know a lot about each other. Like, I know my husband's not planning the events. He's not planning, where we're going. But I also know that my husband is great with organization and financial planning. And a lot of the things we have in our future like new home, you know, repairs, anything. That's not me. Like when it comes down to the logistical part of Danielle, find the person or whatever to do this, give me the quotes. I will find the people that have the things that we want. I can talk to the people to get the things we need in the quotes. Now, who we're paying to do what? That's not me. That's my husband. And you kind of have to know when you're going to let the other person lead. I'm not leading. Like people come to our door all the time, like, "Hey, we want to talk about whatever." My husband will be home. He'll be on his way. Come back when he's here because that's not my role in our marriage. That's not my strength. That's not my strong suit. And I feel like people get that mixed up too. Like you need to stay in your lane in your marriage too, and that offends some people. But it's true. You need to know your marriage lane, and mine is not in the broader plan.
Yeah, I think you just have to be kind of self-aware, honest with your yeah, honest with yourself, and on any team, you're gonna have people like you said that have roles that have their strengths. They're playing their position. You need to play your position in your marriage, and you might not be the quarterback this play. That's not what you're supposed to do.
Christopher's not taking the reins on dance and school decisions, and he does go to the doctor with her. Does he call me on FaceTime? Yes. But
Oh, I'm a FaceTime from the doctor's office.
yeah, that's not daddy's role. Daddy's role is how we're paying for the things that we're paying for and making sure, like, prime example, Nova now goes to aftercare. I got everything set for aftercare. I found all the numbers and information for aftercare. Daddy made the plan for aftercare, and we're paying for aftercare, and how we're paying for aftercare, and everything like that. But I got the logistics. He just has the more important part of. Well, I guess they're both important.
You need the whole thing. Mm-hmm. You need all of it. It's not nobody's part's more important. You just have to be, and I think that's kind of part of our one of our biggest strengths around that is that our egos are really uninvolved on the aspect of how our family functions. So like at the end of the day, if like we're worried about did we achieve our goal as a couple and as a family. So like it got done, all right, cool. Like it's not about oh I did this or whatever. It's like all right, it got done.
And we know couples that are that way, and that's why they're probably unhappy. I'm not in competition with my husband at all.
Yeah, we're very much a team that way. And another really important thing, I don't know if we really touched on this yet, but the something that worked really well for us, I think almost immediately is that, or at least I understood it instinctually maybe in some way, but is that our goals are very much aligned in like what our vision for ourselves, our future selves, and for what we want our family to be. Like that is very, very they're like 100%. Like there's not very much deviation. Like we don't even really have that much. We never really have disagreements on how we address Nova. That's not really a problem we have. Like we really are like synced on that, and so you should definitely communicate with your significant other on those things and those important things. But we've always been really aligned on what our goals are on those things, so they don't really require much discussion. So like there's there's not a lot of ton of disagreement there.
Nope. Not. That's something I feel like that is something that could grow and change. Like that's not something that's like a deal breaker in the beginning of a relationship, but I think that should be talked about before you hit the altar for sure. Like that's something you should, even if you're like, oh, we're not having kids for a while, you should have that conversation. We have some people that we love and know that are in this weird space about children. And maybe it was talked about, maybe it wasn't, but you need to be very clear on that before you head to the altar because that decision is a big one and you have to be on the same page. Christopher and I talk about the conversation of having more children all of the time. And we both are pretty clear that we would like to have another baby. And we're also very clear on it's very taxing. It was very, very hard for me. I went through a lot to have the baby we do have. And my husband is very supportive of that, and he understands that. He's always understood that from the beginning, that no matter how much I want to grow our family, the only way to do it is if you're okay with it, if you can deal with it. And he doesn't like seeing me that way. It was a really hard time. So you just need to be on the same page about those things before you get there. But I think the biggest thing is that our marriage really works because we like each other. And it sounds so simple, but I do not believe that all married couples like each other.
I I believe that too, but it's it it seems silly to me. Like I don't know. Like it's hard.
I think a lot of marriages are just convenient.
Maybe everybody's path is different, so who knows how you get there. But
It
It
is
is
true.
true.
it's just like, man, why would you marry somebody if you didn't like them that much? It just seems,
Because it's convenient.
yeah.
That's the person
Well,
you grew up
yeah,
with.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
the person you were friends with in high school. Everyone thought you'd be together.
You
You
guys were
guys were
always
always
best
best
friends, and
friends, and
now
now
we're
we're
30.
30.
So
So
let's
let's
do
do
it.
it.
Let's
Let's
make it
make it
happen.
happen.
I
I
want
want
kids. You
kids. You
want
want
kids.
kids.
We're
We're
happy
happy
enough.
enough.
We
We
only
only
argue
argue
about
about
these
these
things.
things.
Yeah,
Settling
Settling
is
is
a
a
real
real
thing.
thing.
that's true.
And if you are someone who is listening to this and you are kind of in this space of not sure, do not settle. Whatever you do, please don't settle, because that is the worst thing you could do for your mental health, for your peace. Because once you're in it, it is so, well, I don't know. Just people that I've talked to that are going through separation and divorce, it's so hard to get out. It's not easy to get out and to deal with. There's a lot of mental issues that go on with that. If you have children, that becomes messy. Don't settle. Just don't, for yourself. But you gotta like your person. You gotta like your person as a human. Because if not, every little thing is going to be beyond just like a little annoyance. It's going to be brutal, because Christopher and I will argue about something like very simple, and then it'll be simple like, okay, well, let's go get food. Let's go get Lido, let's go whatever. It's already over. We're not thinking about it anymore. We know people that have been in arguments with their spouse that has lasted for a week or more, and they just not talking. They just out here. That is unheard of. Not in this house.
The biggest transformation that I've had on dealing with conflict in marriage is, and I don't know when this happened. It might be probably over like it's probably honestly pretty recent. It's probably over like the last year or so, probably a little bit more than that. You could, I guess, elaborate on that. But I'm so like hyper competitive that, in my family loves to argue. So like for me, it's just about winning the argument. Like I'll just sit here and like anything. It doesn't matter. Like you name it, we're gonna argue about it, and I want to win. I'm gonna prove my point. And I got to a point where I stopped trying to win arguments with my wife, because there's no point in being the victor over your spouse. You're beating your own teammate. And once I got to the point where I realized that you need to, it's not a contest, it's a conflict that needs to be resolved, and you need to understand the communication. So the victory's in having, understanding their point and trying to communicate your point as well as you can. So an open line of communication where both people are receiving and the other person isn't shutting down. Choose the path that allows you to do that. And when you're doing that, that's the victory, because now you're able to communicate, and when you're doing that, you're able to get the message across, and that's going to give you the resolution that you're looking for and what you actually want from the situation, not a bloody, victory, like looking at Rocky at the end of the Rocky movie. Like that's not good for your family or for your marriage.
That's actually a really good point, because
Christopher is correct. It did sometimes end up being like, no, I need to be correct. I need to win. The problem with
us,
us in that situation is that I don't care enough to keep talking about it. Like once you don't agree with me, once I say my piece, you say yours, we don't agree. I'm like, okay. And that's the worst thing for him. Christopher does not like to agree to disagree at all.
And
And I,
Yeah, we don't do ties.
he does not like to agree to disagree. And immediately, like, we can go back and forth, maybe 1, 2's pushing it, but we don't agree. Okay, what we doing? Like, are we eating dinner? Are we going to do something else? He's like, wait, we're still talking about it. And I'm like, we are? Because I thought we just disagreed, and that's okay.
Yeah, I'll be thinking about it all day.
He thinks about it. We and I'm talking about small stuff. Like, this is not even, we don't, and honestly, we don't really have conflicts about massive life things. Because like he said, we really are aligned on those things. Anything we argue about is usually pretty small. Or honestly, not even our business. It'll be like family stuff that really has nothing to do with us, but we disagree about their situation. So it works. Like he said, it has seemed to get better. And I guess that was more so you working on how to communicate about it. And he forces more explanation, I would say, because I don't feel like I changed much. I feel like he has worded things in a way that requires me to explain my thought more than he explains his thought process more, and then we do come to a mutual agreement.
A really good point. So because I'm not approaching it, and this is kind of what I was trying to explain, because I'm not approaching it as if it's a conflict, there's nothing for you to ignore. So if I don't raise my voice and get upset,
I don't do yelling.
Right. So like if I'm not flapping, as you say, and I just am having a conversation, put it out there, and I'm like this, and I'll tell you very calmly, like I've been doing this a lot lately, is just being like, look, I'm not trying to get upset. I'm just trying to tell you how I feel about this. And this is like, we need to deal with this thing that I'm trying to express. Like, I don't want to make a fight out of it, but we need to figure out how to deal with it because it's going to fester and turn into something else within me. And I don't want that to happen. And when I frame it that way, it takes the contest out of it and becomes, instead of a fight, a task that we can kind of try to address together. And that's been really powerful.
I agree with that. I think that's part of what works too. You have to, we actually have an episode later on in the season about this, but respecting your partner's growth. And you are not the same people that when you first met. You are not the same people. And people are like, oh no, we haven't changed. You have changed. You are not the same people. Now, morally, Chris and I are the same people. We have the same probably values and goals that we did then, but they have changed. They have enhanced. We communicate differently. Life has changed us. We've been through things. I've had losses that have totally changed me as a person and made me view people differently. Christopher has experienced a lot of things in his life since we got married that has made him view things differently. We're not the same people. We have a kid now. Parent us and dating from college us, not the same people. And you just have to accept that people, we're going to change, we're going to grow. And that's why marriages also work, because Danielle from 2015 we met was not Danielle from 2021. And Christopher had to learn how to love me at the new me. And Christopher from 2015, now let me just say, I have a much better version from 2015 Christopher to now. So it wasn't much to learn how to love, because if you know, you know. But there was just
I used to be outside.
Too far outside, and I don't know, but the Lord said, girl, this is the one. I promise, and he was right. I'm still here, God. I heard you. Now, well, he wasn't outside when we got married. Like, so we're sticking to that. Do not go to the altar when he's outside, because we didn't get there. He okay, we'll save that for another day. But you're not the same person. You're not the same people.
No, it's and there's just so much to what you just said right there, because that was for me the biggest thing. It wasn't bad necessarily, but the biggest thing I guess I understood it, but not in the way from the big picture of it. So like when nobody told me what it was going to be like for us to change the way that we have when we got married. So like when I got married, I'm just like, all right, cool, I'm marrying Danny and it's just going to be great. And I'm like, it's going to be happily ever after. And that did not last forever. My grandfather passed away 2 months into us getting married.
And I think it was like month to the day, right?
Yeah, 2 months to the day. And so like happily ever after wasn't forever. And things like more things happened, and there's been a lot of trials, and the being prepared.
Losing my uncle,
Yeah,
I changed a lot.
that was a big one, and just that was honestly probably matured me a lot in a lot of ways. I never really thought about that, but I had to really.
You took on a lot in the marriage and as a parent.
Just to be supportive in that situation and try to give you what you need was a challenge. It never really seemed like too much. It just kind of seemed like hard. Like it was always hard, but it was never too much. It was like, I need to do this. Like, this is the right thing to do. And like, if you love somebody, you want them to try to give them the things they need, was always my approach to it. So it was always just kind of like, I married her and I'm going to, like, even when it's hard, it's like, you have to support them like through those things and try to do your best, I guess.
This point right here is so massive because it does get hard. People do change. Your spouse may go through something. Postpartum depression is real. That thing can last for a minute. Childbirth, the way their body changes, or maybe your husband loses his job. Things change them. And you can't just throw away your spouse. You cannot just, well, you're not supposed to. Some people do. You can't just check them out, like you have to fight for it. I was, when my uncle died, looking back now, I probably didn't know then. My husband said I was in shock for about a year. I do not know how I was living. I don't remember feeding myself. I feel like Christopher must have been feeding me. I don't remember drinking anything but wine. I do not remember doing anything to care for myself during this time. I don't remember anything. And the only reason that I think anything got done was because Christopher was literally giving me the steps. Like, this is the next thing you do. You're going to do this. We are going to do this. You're going to think about this. And he put me in the place I need to be in, basically, is what I feel happened. And a lot of men, and it probably was, like he said, it was hard for him. I don't believe that it was ever a thing of, wow, this is too much. Like, this is just too much. I got to roll out. Because what would that do? What would that do after tragedy to lose your spouse in the middle of that? That wouldn't do anything for the people that you love. But loving through it, and here we are. And like I said, Christopher, he's had several losses since we've been together in his life. Like, he's lost people he's worked with, he's lost friends from childhood, he's lost family members, and you really just gotta love them through it, talk them through it. Work is hard. Christopher's job is hard. He has lots of personalities at work, and it's hard. He has a hard job, and his job does matter. It's sometimes dangerous for things not to get done, and it's taxing on him. It's hard for him, and some days I want to tell him about things I did at work, and you have to realize that's not the time. He needs to vent about some things, and that's just my role right now.
I will say this, because this is a good segue into something I wrote it down that I really wanted to put in here. And you do need to spend time with your significant other, like more than just being in the house. And my favorite part of the day used to be coming home and Nova just giving me the biggest "Hey, Daddy," whatever. But she is graduated from that, and we don't get those much anymore. So now my new favorite part of the day is getting the hot tea in my cup when I get home and be like, "Yo, babe."
Before you get home.
Yeah, sometimes the tea too hot.
Sometimes we talk on the way home from work.
But just being able to talk to each other about that and checking in, and I've been having beef with people at work that I'm never going to meet. Like, I'm just like, man, this dude over here, that's crazy.
This is very true. Like, there are people that my husband be telling me stuff. We're not cool, okay? And if we were at the store and if Chris was like, pick these person, I don't know what they look like. I know we have a problem though. Like, I know that. So that's you have to be behind your person 100%. Marriage is 100, not 50-50. I hate when people say that. You can't be 50-50. You got to be all in all the time. At least we are.
The spending that time and you really have to kind of like, and I look forward to that. That one kind of just came back in with, because it didn't used to be that way with our schedules, but now with your new role and stuff like that, it just kind of is some new part of the day that we get. It didn't used to be like that. But then just like, and like even with that, the another thing that's been really huge for us this year that's helping us really grow has been so we used to split the time that we would take Nova to dance. So like one day you would go, then one day I would go, and I don't know when it split, or it's when you couldn't drive. So then I just was going with you, but then it was like, this could be just date night, and now date night's twice a week, and it's been great for us. Like it just allows us time to connect and talk, spend time with each other, and be intentional about us. Give us the us time, and I think everybody should make space for that in your time. And to the fellas out there, like, get some time off the game. Take your wife on a date. Like, you have time. You just have to make it. That's what I meant about prioritizing it. Like, I had to get to a space where it wasn't about me all the time. And honestly, once I started doing that and being intentional about it, it became a thing where like, well, dang, I need to do this because this is important. Like, this is our time. You know what I'm saying? So, and then your priorities become straight. And then, yeah, you get some time on the game, but you'll get it when you get it. It'll be there. Like, you always have time. So,
And I like games, so sometimes we'll play games together. Like Chris will look for games that I like to play.
That's another good point. Is like trying to share your interests. And I'm so I was showing Danielle's been really trying to watch a lot of anime. We're working our way through Attack on Titan. And
side note, if you watch that, please know that Christopher is the anime person, and he said that I was so smart and was like figuring out things that he didn't figure out till like episode 8004. So wanted to make sure I put that out there for the anime people.
She's pretty strong in the Force, even though she's got a red lightsaber.
Well, that's another episode. It's coming soon.
But sharing those interests has been really cool, and her just showing interest in them makes me really excited, and it's really a cool thing. So you should find things that you can share together that like one person is like really kind of crazy about. Just share that interest with each other and see how far that goes into making them happy and creating a space for you guys to have something that to make what you have that's special even more special.
Yeah, I think it's true. And the date night thing, I think it's really important to put out that dates do not have to be Ruth Chris expensive dates. Christopher and I have gone to dates to at home while Nova's at dance. And I mean, we've been there for like dance is 2 hours. We've been there for like an hour and a half. Just because we're seeing things, planning things out we want, we're talking, we're making fun of things in the store, we're just having fun and enjoying each other. And that is also a part of having your person be your friend, because we're not always doing something. We've been to Panera and just had like work dates, which I love. I love me some Panera anyway. But yeah, dates don't have to be expensive. I don't think we do have some more expensive dates, but sometimes it's just let's go to the store and see if we can find some stuff we want, or let's go buy some games. Sometimes we go to Five Below and shop for Nova. Go to Crumble Cookie. We've been doing a lot of Crumble Cookie.
I chill out on the crumble.
Well, we don't go twice a week now because it's the same thing. We just pick which day we want to go. But now Nova's expecting crumble after dance. Yeah, but keep dating each other because you still have to put in the effort. And we still have date night. We used to have date night every Friday when we first started dating. And then Chris got a new job. I was teaching, and that they kind of fell off. Now they're back, and I think it's wonderful. All right, so rapid fire questions has been for the two of us. These are things that came through on Facebook, actually. Are you ready? Biggest pet peeve about each other. I think mine is the throwing clothes in front of the hamper or next to the bed. Christopher has a pile. The pile grows until I move things.
Do you know what my biggest pet peeve of yours is?
I don't know, but you sound like something really clicked.
Yeah, it did, because this one just hit me right in the back of the head. when you intentionally try to bring stuff up these stairs when I'm sitting right here and you could just ask me to do it.
Okay, let me tell you why I do that. I'm not out here to nag anybody. If I walked by it, you walked by it, which means you could have brought it up the stairs. And if you didn't, I'm gonna carry it.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about stuff that I didn't walk by that you could have just came up here and asked me to get, that you're just going to bring up the stairs anyway.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
I digress.
Who apologizes first? I feel like we kind of both do. We don't really have. It's really, it comes like how Christopher would be like, look, we need to talk about this because. So maybe it is you. Because I will just be like, all right, well, that
it's probably me. And the context of the question.
Not over yet. We have to talk about this more. I guess really not apologies.
It never really ever takes form of apologies because it's usually more of a
communication.
Yeah, it's usually more of a like, we need to talk about this. It's not like
not as Christopher that starts that because it's not me. So Chris, he's the one. If we're talking about apology, it's him because I'm like, oh, well, that was a crazy conversation. Who is more dramatic?
I don't think you're that dramatic. You're really not dramatic.
I don't bring the drama, and crazy because everyone seems to think I do.
No, you're not.
They think that I'm the one with the drama and all the things.
You're not dramatic at all.
It's not me. It's not me. I'm not the one that does the most over here. My husband can tell you he had planned a full date for us. It was early. We were not even engaged yet, I don't think. And he talks about this. He played a full date. We were going to movie. We were going to Jerry's. Was it Jerry's Seafood?
It was Jerry's.
I don't know. Yeah, we were going there. And we were in, I don't know what we were doing. We got in the car and I was like, look, can we just get Taco Bell? I mean, we're dressed up. I was like, can we just get Taco Bell and go home? And he was like, really? Really? I just want Taco Bell and I want to go home. And that has not changed. There is a lot of times he's like, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, we can just get McDonald's. We can just go to Rofo. And even this morning where I was like, oh, let's just get Rofo coffee. And you were like, absolutely not. We're going to go to a coffee shop and get some decent coffee.
Yeah, I'm the extra one for sure.
You should see him cook. Because I will buy pre-made. I'll buy pre-made in a jar, pre-cut anytime. Yeah, my husband's not here for that at all. What is the most random argument we've ever had?
Random.
Probably the Star Wars battle we're in. I don't even know.
That's not an argument.
I don't know if it's an argument, but that's the most random thing. If you don't know, I'll give you a little peek. Like I said, it's gonna be an episode. Christopher thinks I'm pro dark side because I have sympathy for Anakin, and I don't want to ruin. Well, at this point, I mean, let's not pretend. My best friend got married last year, and that's when I watched Star Wars for the first time because she had a Star Wars themed wedding. So I'm not gonna be like, if you haven't seen it by now, that's your problem. But spoiler alert: if you haven't seen Star Wars and you want to, cover your ears or fast forward. But Anakin was kidnapped as a baby, as like a 4 or 5-year-old. He was over here being withheld from love and everything else. And that poor guy was just wanting it in his life. And long story short, it got to a point where his mom died. He wasn't allowed to see his mom. They was keeping him from loving his wife. And he ended up snapping and just wrecking the place. And I have sympathy for him. I'm like, I get it. I'm not saying it's right, but I understand. And I blame all those people, the Jedi who's supposed to be the good ones. I blame them for what happened with him. And now he's Darth Vader. And this is their fault. This is their fault. And my husband said that makes me be on the dark side. So we talk about this at least twice a week. And I never start the conversation, Chris.
It usually starts with an Instagram reel. Are you doing a separate episode on this? Because I could do like 60 minutes on that.
I think we are, because today we talked about it again, and I was like, we need to talk about this because
I'm not even going to say nothing. I'm going to just let it cook.
Someone agrees with me. I know it.
I want y'all to respond and say what y'all think about that so that I know how to come in the episode.
Agrees with me. I know it.
They got a red lightsaber too.
You know
You know what? At this point, let it be red because seriously, that he never had a chance.
Had so many chances.
When he finally snapped, everybody's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe this is happening. What did you think was going to happen?" He's only been begging for love and attention this entire time he's been here.
He made all those choices.
He didn't have a choice. He was a child when he was kidnapped and brought here. But anyway,
taken from slavery.
I still think this is the most random argument we've ever had.
I still think
that. Can you think of any more? This probably tops it. And he's been trying to change my mind for almost a year now because we started this in May. I have not changed. I'm actually even deeper into my position now. Because there was like a newer one where Hayden Christensen came back as Darth Vader. And once again, my heart was just like, oh, look what now he has scars on his face. Look what y'all did to him. He was beautiful. Now I'm even more upset. So
it's crazy, yo.
Yes, that's the most random argument, I'd say. All right. What's one piece of advice we'd give to newlyweds? Like, what's our top piece of advice?
They're already married, so
newlyweds.
Okay. I think my advice that I would be to the husbands out there would just be to put your wife first and just try to be intentional about balancing out what her needs are and try to, help her any way you can. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be different for every person because every person's partner is different, but just try to get to know your partner and then try to balance those weaknesses out with your strengths.
We're linked up because my brain was saying be intentional, and I was thinking, and don't let the things you do for each other just be because you feel like you have to. Just be intentional. Try your best to, send a message about how their day is. Actually care about how their day is. And, maybe dress up a little nice. Do your hair. Plan a date night. A kitchen table date where y'all are not just separated eating in the rooms. Actually have time to eat. Just be intentional about little things and they will matter. Like getting up to get coffee. Like this morning, my husband ordered the coffee. He put in my order. I didn't even know what he had until we went to pick it up. Be intentional. Things like that. They're special, and those little moments will build into something else. What do we think makes our marriage strong? I would say because we're friends. I think that makes it strong. We are actually best friends.
Yeah, I think that's a good one.
I think that's true.
There's nothing that I hear or am told. The first thought, like I will text Chris right away, like, wait till I can talk to you today. Immediately. That's the first person I think of.
I think that our trust makes us strong. Because, and I guess that's part of you what you're saying, but it's just like I don't have to worry about what you're doing and really kind of like anything. Like it's just like I'm like, oh yeah, no, we're good there. Like I'm not like, worried about like mine. Even when I see like other men around you or anything like that, just in that aspect of it, there's a lot of different ways that the trust goes into it. Because like even financially, it's a big thing. But like just back to like other dudes, like it's usually not that I think you're up to no good. I'm just like, nah, dude, you need to step back up off.
And he's saying that, but he's not even the problem in that situation. It's me. Like Taylor Swift, hi, I'm the problem. It is me because I do not play about that at all. What did he text me the other day? He was like, because whenever he gets a fresh haircut, it seems like girls just seem to come out of nowhere. He texted me at Starbucks and was like, hey, the barista told me I have a nice smile to keep smiling. When I told you I had a red lightsaber moment in his text messages, and I was like, go back and tell her what I said.
Okay, so what had happened was, like, normally I'm pretty oblivious to girls like flirting with me.
I'm not.
And yeah, she's not. And so, but this was so Like, it was so bad that I had to text my wife and be like, look, that felt wrong. So I was like, babe, she just told me that, so I'm just letting you know about it. And Danielle did not. She wouldn't.
I don't approve.
Yeah.
And I know that I have nothing to worry about. He is with me all day. I know that. But, just got to make sure everybody else knows too. Isn't that right, dear? I mean, no, he's kind of nuts too. Like, he's more offended because I have made some friends that have been recommending anime to me, and they're males, and he's very offended by it.
It just feels like they're in my space. I want to be the one that tells you those things. And
I'm watching animes you recommended already, but I'm bringing in new ones. My main point is marriage should be a safe space. If you do not feel like you can be 100% with your partner, with your spouse, something's off, and you should definitely feel seen and understood. You should feel like you don't have to be perfect. You can have a bad day in your marriage and it be okay. You should not feel like you have to hide your bad days from your person. And what's your final thought for them?
That your pursuit of your partner shouldn't be, it doesn't end. Like, you have to keep pursuing them and keep giving them reasons to be falling in love with you. So you have to like be intentional about that and give them prove them right for choosing you consist every day.
Yeah, because my husband, he be getting his hair cut, and I'd be reminded, like, oh, he's fine, y'all.
Remember, she liked me again.
I'd be remembering, and then he showed me a little athleticism the other day, and I was like, oh, he real fine, y'all. Because we went to Sky Zone, and he did a little backflip for our daughter, and the girl was like, ooh, first of all, ma'am, like him less. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you loved this conversation, let me know. You can let us know on my Instagram at the Danny Sade and also at Soul Shift Podcast. And tell us what's one thing you learned about marriage. If you have any tips about marriage, slide in the DMs. Let me know. Oh, but slide in respectfully because my husband don't play that.
I just want to hear what y'all think about Anakin, y'all.
Episode coming soon. Okay. All right. This was fun. We'll see you in the next one. And anything else?
I think that's it, babe.
Bye.